To understand what Hoskinson means by this, we first need to look at the bigger picture, the current state of the crypto industry and how it's quietly shifting beneath the surface. Most retail investors today are either laser-focused on short-term price action waiting for Bitcoin to break 100 or Ethereum to flip Bitcoin, or completely disillusioned after the market's brutal cycles. But behind the scenes, the infrastructure, regulation, and adoption curve of blockchain technology are entering a stage unlike anything we've seen before. The next era of crypto is not about speculation, it's about integration. Hoskinson has repeatedly emphasized that the next chapter for crypto won't be about meme coins or speculative trading. The days of turning 100 into a million overnight through luck or hype are fading. Instead, we're moving toward what he calls the age of real-world utility. This is the phase where blockchain technology will seamlessly integrate into everyday life, powering financial systems, healthcare records, identity management, and even governance. In recent interviews and live reads, Hoskinson has hinted that 2025 and beyond will mark the industrialization of blockchain, where crypto transitions from a playground for traders to a backbone for global systems. He believes most people have zero clue because they're still measuring crypto's success in terms of price charts, rather than its exponential progress in adoption, scalability, and real-world use cases. For instance, while everyone debates Bitcoin's next halving or Ethereum's gas fees, Cardano has been quietly building out a fully decentralized infrastructure capable of handling millions of transactions per second, integrating governance mechanisms, and hosting decentralized identity solutions. This isn't about speculation, it's about building the foundation for a new financial internet. Blockchain is becoming invisible, and that's the point. Hoskinson often compares the current phase of crypto to the early days of the internet. In the 1990s, few people understood how the internet worked. Terms like TCP, IP, DNS, and HTTP were meaningless to the average user. All they cared about was the result: faster communication, instant information, and global connectivity. Blockchain is on the same path. He argues that in the coming years, most people won't even realize they're using blockchain technology. It will be baked into the background of apps, banks, governments, and digital services. The crypto wallets, keys, and complex jargon will fade away, just like people today don't think about internet protocols when they scroll through social media or shop online. That's why he says most people have zero clue what's coming. They're too focused on the surface level noise like meme coins, influencer-driven hype, or temporary market corrections, while the underlying architecture of a new digital economy is being quietly assembled. The rise of nation-backed and institutional crypto. Another major factor that Hoskinson has pointed out is the inevitable entry of governments and large institutions into blockchain. Central bank digital currencies, BDC, tokenized assets, and blockchain-based identity systems are all part of this transformation. The line between crypto and traditional finance is blurring fast. In Africa, for example, Cardano is already working with governments to digitize educational credentials, land records, and identity systems using blockchain. These are not speculative projects, they're functional deployments that impact millions of lives. Imagine a world where your medical history, academic qualifications, or financial identity are stored securely and verifiably on a blockchain, accessible anywhere, anytime, without fraud or bureaucracy. That's the kind of system Hoskinson envisions, one where blockchain becomes a public good, not a speculative asset. And as that happens, the global financial system as we know it will undergo a massive reconfiguration. Decentralization versus control, the battle that's coming. However, this future won't come without conflict. Hoskinson has often warned that the biggest battle in the coming years will be between decentralization and control. On one side, we have open-source blockchain networks like Cardano, Bitcoin, and Ethereum that prioritize freedom, privacy, and peer-to-peer empowerment. On the other, governments and corporations are developing centralized systems like BDC that could track and restrict how people use their money. Most people, he argues, have no clue how important this battle is or how much it will shape the next decade of global economics. If blockchain technology ends up being dominated by centralized entities, we could see a future where financial surveillance becomes the norm, and the original vision of crypto to create financial sovereignty is lost. That's why Hoskinson and the Cardano team have spent years building a governance system that allows community-driven decision-making, ensuring the protocol evolves democratically rather than through the control of a single entity. It's part of what he calls Voltaire, the final phase in Cardano's roadmap, which will give ADA holders real voting power over network upgrades and treasury allocation. The AI, quantum, and blockchain convergence. Another layer to Hoskinson's warning is the technological convergence happening between artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and blockchain. He believes that as AI becomes more advanced and capable of automating entire industries, blockchain will serve as the trust layer that keeps systems accountable and verifiable. For example, imagine a future where AI systems handle everything from medical diagnoses to financial trading. Without blockchain-based transparency, how would you trust the results? Blockchain provides the immutable record, a system of accountability that ensures AI decisions are transparent and traceable. Hoskinson has also raised concerns about quantum computing, which could potentially break existing cryptographic systems. However, Cardano's architecture is designed to evolve with the ability to implement quantum-resistant protocols as needed. He often points out that adaptability, not hype, will define which projects survive the next decade. The hidden accumulation phase. While everyone sleeps right now, we're in what Hoskinson and many long-term investors call the accumulation phase, a quiet period between market cycles when real builders are developing, while speculators are distracted or discouraged. It's during these moments that fortunes are quietly made. Hoskinson often emphasizes that the real opportunity lies not in chasing pump and dump trends but in understanding what's being built. When mainstream adoption hits, when blockchain-based banking, identity, and data systems go live globally, the value of foundational networks like Cardano will skyrocket. He points out that most investors are asleep at the wheel. They're waiting for the next bull run signal, while institutions and nations are already laying down infrastructure that will make blockchain indispensable. This disconnect between perception and reality is exactly why most people have zero clue what's about to happen. Regulation is coming, but it's not the end. Many fear that regulation will kill crypto, but Hoskinson sees it differently. He believes regulation, if done right, will actually legitimize the industry. The Wild West era of scams, rug pulls, and speculative mania cannot sustain a trillion-dollar ecosystem. What's needed is clarity and compliance frameworks that allow innovation to thrive while protecting users. In his view, the next decade will bring about clear global standards for crypto. Everything from DeFi protocols to tokenized assets will be regulated under transparent frameworks. That's when institutional adoption will go parabolic. Banks, pension funds, and governments will fully embrace blockchain, not because it's trendy, but because it's efficient, secure, and inevitable. Cardano's unique position in this transformation. While other projects have focused on speed or hype, Cardano has focused on mathematical precision, peer-reviewed research, and long-term scalability. It's not the fastest network today, nor the flashiest, but it's one of the most scientifically grounded and sustainably designed systems in crypto. Hoskinson's philosophy has always been about building for decades, not cycles. That's why Cardano's ecosystem, from smart contracts and decentralized governance to its DeFi and identity systems, is slowly maturing into one of the most robust and interoperable networks in the world. Projects like Midnight, Cardano's privacy sidechain, and Hydra, its scaling solution, are setting the stage for massive growth. When these systems go mainstream, they'll enable Cardano to host millions of users and enterprise applications without sacrificing decentralization, something few other blockchains can claim. The coming shock when reality catches up. Hoskinson's statement that most people have zero clue what's about to happen isn't meant as arrogance, it's a wake-up call. The crypto market is evolving faster than most realize. The next few years won't be defined by meme coins or influencers, they'll be defined by governments adopting blockchain, AI integrating with crypto, and billions of users unknowingly interacting with decentralized systems. By the time the average person realizes what's happening, it'll be too late to get in early. Just like how early internet pioneers became billionaires while others doubted the web, those who positioned themselves in fundamental, real-world projects today will be the biggest winners of tomorrow. The final word: think long-term. Charles Hoskinson's message is clear: crypto's future is inevitable, but only a fraction of people truly understand how big this transformation will be. The blockchain revolution won't be about moon coins or market caps, it'll be about who controls data, identity, and value in the digital age. Most people don't see it yet because true revolutions happen quietly, then all at once. So when the Cardano founder says most people have zero clue what's about to happen, he's not just talking about price action, he's talking about a paradigm shift that will redefine finance, governance, and the very structure of the internet. The next few years will separate the visionaries from the speculators, and only those who understand the deeper purpose of blockchain will truly benefit. Crypto isn't dying, it's evolving. And if you're paying attention, you'll see that we're standing on the edge of one of the greatest technological revolutions in history.